This is Chetan Narula reporting for Cricket World, and I'm in Delhi, and we're going to talk about the two matches that I've attended over the weekend. That's the first one, obviously, this England-South Africa game in Mumbai, and then the big clash, India versus Pakistan in Kolkata. Let's talk about the England-South Africa game first. What a brilliant chase! 400 runs scored in a 40-over match. You know that the pitches were not made for bowlers then, as almost everyone was hit out of the park. Going for more than 8-9 runs per over. It was a game of some brilliant hitting. Talking about the English bowling, it did not really come up trumps against West Indies. They could not defend a target of 180. They came across Chris Gayle. On this day, however, there was no such Gayle storm in the sense that not really one batsman could go and score the big runs. However, you had Quinton de Kock and Hashim Amla and JP Duminy later getting 50s, and rest of the South African batsmen chipping in with quick runs as well. As a result, obviously, South Africa got those 229 runs on the board. The English bowling has not been able to mirror the aggressive image that the English batting has been trying to project, or indeed has projected successfully, given their 200-run chase. However, that is something that really needs to be rectified going ahead in the tournament if England really do want to succeed. Talking about the English chase, they just came out, with nothing to lose really. And we will talk about Joe Root's innings, but the first innings that I want to really talk about is Jason Roy. He really embodied the spirit that England really came out to battle. Like I said, they really had nothing to lose. They decided they're going to go hammer and tongs after the South African bowling, and that is what really happened. Jason Roy got those initial quick runs with the 50 coming up in the third or fourth over, and England got the start that they wanted. It set up the base, after which they really just needed to keep abreast of the run rate. However, that was easier said than done. And this is where Joe Root really comes into the picture. Against the West Indies, when he was batting first, he really played a calm knock. He looked busy, he ran his singles, picked up the odd boundary. But against South Africa, he hit those boundaries and got those odd singles and odd doubles, really mixing it up nicely and setting up his 80-run knock, which paved the way for the English win. The difference between the two sides, I would say, was the ground fielding. England were poor, South Africa were poorer. English bowling was bad, but South Africa's bowling was a bit on par. Where they lost out is the fact that the English batsmen came out with a simple plan of hitting them out of the park. When you're being hit out of the park, it's not easy to go from plan A to plan B, especially in a T20 match when the batsmen just really want to hit you out. And that is where South Africa's one-dimensional attack never really could cope up with the way the English batsmen were hitting them. That is where South Africa lost out, and that is where they really need to improve going ahead into the tournament. Let's talk about the second game now. That's India versus Pakistan, and it was built up. There was so much hype, as if an India and Pakistan game needs that sort of hype. But then again, the build-up was so strong, so emotional for the millions watching everywhere, and so many people flying in. I was on a flight from Mumbai to Calcutta. It got delayed, and the whole flight was full of Indian fans coming in. There was a lot of rain around. We got delayed because of that. We got delayed because of the flight, but still managed to get into the stadium just ahead of the game. Obviously, because of the rain, it was reduced to 18 overs a side, and perhaps that is where Pakistan suffered their first blow. Weather conditions often tend to play a role in cricket, and perhaps that is where they thought that getting an extra pacer in and perhaps picking bowling first might just catch Indians on the wrong foot. However, to their luck, India won the toss and decided to field first themselves, and that is where Pakistan again lost out. The pitch surprised everybody. Let's not make a mistake there. The pitch surprised everybody. It was a raging turner, Ashwin coming and lobbing grenades, Ravindra Jadeja coming and mixing his straighter deliveries with the one leaving the batsman. It was a very tough pitch to bat on. That said, I think the wrong move on Pakistan's part was sending Shahid Afridi at number 3. Yes, he scored those runs against Bangladesh, but is he a batsman who is ever in form? You had Mohammad Hafiz, who was in form. You had Umar Akmal, who can hit out and really build an innings. You have Shoaib Malik, who can do that same job. So you had 3 batsmen who could have actually come in at number 3 and held the innings along, perhaps better than what Shahid Afridi did on that night. I'm not going to say that he was the he was solely responsible for failure in that match. That's never possible, especially in an India-Pakistan game where the pressure is so intense. Perhaps if he had played a blinder innings, the pressure would have been back on India. But again, was he the best choice to bat at number 3 for Pakistan? After their slow start, Pakistan would have accepted the 120-run target, and they nearly gone that. They got 118, which meant it was a bit of a stiff target for India, because of the pressure situation that they found themselves in. And then Rohit Sharma got out, Shikhar Dhawan got out, Suresh Raina got out, and they were 3 wickets down for nothing on the board. And again, the situation from Nagpur was repeating itself. But then India's batsman at the moment, Virat Kohli, what an innings. If we were talking about the Joe Root innings against South Africa, I think the Virat Kohli innings also needs to be seen in the same light, if not a greater light or a worse light. They are, I think, on par. What a knock, what a player. He rotated the strike when he wanted. He got those boundaries when he wanted and just really helped build the innings along. What was different for the Indian batting from Nagpur was the fact that Yuvraj Singh was staying at the wicket and really giving him company. It was just a matter of playing time. Again, where Pakistan suffered there was the lack of a quality spinner. Again, obviously, in part from the conditions that they played an extra bowler and really, suffered in terms of how the pitch played out. Obviously, it was a surprise, but then Afridi and Shoaib Malik as your 2 spin options were not going to be enough. If they had an extra left-arm spinner or an extra full-time spinner, maybe even, Yuvraj Singh might have really struggled against the spin. But as it happened, they were forced to go back to their pace options, and Yuvraj can really play that comfortably. As it seemed, there was a time when the match hung in balance, but then came a 6 from Yuvraj before before he got out, and then Virat also collected a couple of boundaries, and then a 6 of Afridi, and then a 6 of Shoaib Malik. That is where the game turned. That is where the equation swung in India's favour, and they got those 2 points on the board with some balls to spare, which means that India are now back in this tournament with a bang. They've got those 2 points. They're still at number 3 in Group 2. However, they have 2 games against Bangladesh and Australia, and they will be finishing their quota of games after Pakistan finish. Pakistan play New Zealand and they play Australia, and they'll finish off those games before India get to play Australia. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really close, and the group of death might just live up to its reputation.